day, family, and welcome to another powerful edition of the Connector Live TV, The Influencers. I'm your host, Michael Rice, author of Urban Networking, the essential guide for the urban professional, a leadership coach, a community engagement specialist, and someone who spent over 30 years helping people discover the greatness that's already living inside them. Today, I want to open up with a story about identity, environment, and the moment you finally realize who you were born to be. There's an old tale about an eagle's egg that fell from a nest and landed into a chicken coop. The mother hen found the egg, sat on it, nurtured it, and eventually it hatched. But what came out wasn't a chick. It was an eagle. The eagle grew up doing what chickens did, scratching the ground, pecking for food, staying close to the coop, living small, even though something inside him whispered, "There's more." One day he looked up and he saw an eagle soaring across the sky, wings wide, spirit free, purpose activated, and in that moment, something awakened inside him. He realized, I was never meant to live on the ground. Family, many of you are watching today are that eagle. You were born with brilliance, born with vision, born with purpose. But you were raised in a coop of limiting beliefs. Maybe your parents never went to college, so you never thought you could. Maybe nobody in your family ever left the city, so you never imagined the world. Maybe nobody around you ever built wealth, so you believe wealth wasn't for you. You learned to survive, but not to soar. And that's why this show exists. TheConnector Live TV, The Influencers, is designed to help you break out of your coop, shift your circle, elevate your mindset, and connect with people who remind you of your wings. Because networking, real networking, isn't just about shaking hands. It's about changing environments, changing conversations, changing your self-image. It's about surrounding yourself with eagles so you can finally rise like one. Today, we bring you stories, voices, and visionaries who are soaring and showing you that you can too. So settle in, lean forward, and get ready. This is more than a movement. It's a mindset shift. This is the Connector Live TV, The Influencers. Let's take flight. Kings and queens, welcome back to Connector Live TV, The Influencers. I'm your host, Michael Rice, the Connector. And if you've been with us from the top of the show, you know we open tonight talking about eagles, about identity, and about rising above the limitations of the coop you were born into. Well, our next guest is living embodiment of what happens when someone chooses to soar. For more than 50 years, she has proven that real change doesn't start with a system, it starts with a person. One child, one family, one life at a time. She holds a master's of social work from the University of Pennsylvania, one of the most respected institutions in the world, and an MBA from the University of Phoenix, because she understood early that compassion without strategy doesn't move mountains. You need both heart and horsepower. She serves as vice president of the Broken Wings Literary Center right here in Philadelphia, a nonprofit on the front lines, giving children living in poverty the educational and mental health resources they need to rise above their circumstances and soar into their futures. Her excellence has been recognized across the nation. She has been honored as P.O.W.E.R. Woman of the Month and awarded the University of Phoenix Lifetime Achievement Award, featured on the cover of the university's alumni magazine, and named Pinnacle's professional member of the Inner Circle of Excellence for her extraordinary contributions to social work and community service. She's a proud University of Penn ambassador, a dedicated supporter of the Penn Relays, and an active voice in the Pennsylvania Society for Clinical Social Work and the National Association of Social Workers. And when she's not changing lives, she's playing the piano, cheering for the Phillies and the Eagles, and continuing to write her story. One page, one purpose, one person at a time. Family, remember what I said earlier. Hope is not a strategy. But today's guest has turned hope into action, action into impact, and the impact into a legacy that is lifting an entire generation. So, kings and queens, please help me welcome to the Connector Live TV, social work champion, community architect, and Philadelphia's own Miss Carol Henny-Franczyk.
Thank you, Michael. That was very nice of you. It was very
welcome,
nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about you. You exceptional. We only have exceptional people on the show, so you know. So we're going to jump right into it, Carol. 50 years in social work is not a career. That's a calling. Take us back to that very beginning. What happened in your life that made you say, this is the work I was born to do?
Well, I'm not really sure how I got started. I know that I was 17 and I grew up in Harleysville, and a small town, and I always wanted to work with the people in Philadelphia. I, unfortunately, was abused. I was bullied in high school. I was bullied to the point that I almost flunked out. And yet I got to go to University of Pennsylvania on a scholarship. That was remarkable. I do have to say that I had some friends when I was in school, and in our English class, we had to memorize Shakespeare. And I worked and worked and worked really hard to get that memorized. I had to stand in front of the two biggest bullies in the school to give my memorization, and I gave it. And when I was finished, my English teacher, Miss Fisher, said, "Carol, you memorized more than anybody in this class. You get an A."
Okay, all right.
And also then I went to Eastern Mennonite College, so I was active there. That's in Virginia. That's in the woods and everything else, and it's just not Philadelphia. But I wanted to get to Philadelphia, so I went to Philadelphia College of the Bible. But I had been really working hard on the piano as well, so I tried out with the music teacher, the music major teacher, and between social work and music.
Okay.
And she said to me, "Carol, I don't usually take non-music majors, but she said I would take you."
Okay.
So those are things I remember, because back when. And then I had a chance to come to Philadelphia through Philadelphia College of the Bible. But two things that I did that I want to bring up because of where I am now. When I was at Eastern Mennonite, I spent the summer in the Bronx working with children from the ages of grade 4th to 10th and teaching, helping them with their developments and learning different things, math and reading. And then I also, the next year, went to Kentucky and worked with the coal miners' children in Appalachia.
Okay. All right.
And when I was finished there, they said to me, "Carol, we would like you to stay. Can you stay?" But at that point, I was on to bigger and better things. Philadelphia.
All right. All right. So you went to Penn for your MSW, one of the most prestigious social work programs in the country. What did that experience teach you that no classroom could?
Well, one thing that was really nice, and I really want to learn how to make more of it, is the mentor for myself at Penn was the dean of social work.
Okay.
And I was fortunate. I did my paper, my professional project on permanency planning
Okay.
because I really believe very strongly that it's very difficult sometimes growing up in families. However, especially if there is a parent that has an addiction or another problem, but there's a loyalty there and they really want to be with their parents.
Right.
So I worked really hard at in my development of my professional project and also at DHS, Department of Human Services, in teaching and working with families, trying to get them to be able to keep their children and stay together. I believe that. I committed to that.
Okay.
And it was difficult at times because I had one case that we really should have probably placed a child and we didn't. And that was difficult because it didn't work out well. But it was just, I mean, I just remembered. And the thing is that with a person Broken Wings Literacy Center, she was in 17 foster homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and she's still very, very loyal to her own family.
Right.
And so it's very important if you can to do what you can, even though we provided really intensive services to these families 3 and 4 times a week, to be able to help them stay together if they can.
Mm-hmm.
But when do you make the right decision? That's really important. And then also I was a domestic violence survivor. So I started the first domestic violence program at DHS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And
now you credit your mentors. You just mentioned Natasha Harris Foster, Louise Shoemaker, and Dr. Lovey for shaping who you are. What piece of wisdom from those relationships still guides you today?
I think knowing that they really did have an expertise in their field, so going to them and looking for direction.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so important when you are working to be able to take direction from people who know what they're doing and what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I kind of let them tell me how I should operate. And I really worked on that to get that to happen, rather than just doing my own thing and they getting frustrated and saying, "What are you doing anyway?"
Yeah, mentors are very, very important, not only to children but to adults.
Yeah, it's very important when you find somebody that you can trust,
right,
and that you can relate to,
mm-hmm.
that you listen to what they're saying and make it a quality relationship. Because there's a lot of people who you like, but you might not listen to what they're saying, and you still do your own thing. That doesn't get you anywhere.
You just gave some qualities of a good mentor: being able to listen, being trustworthy, and being likable. Right?
Yeah. It's very important. And the thing is, sometimes we don't like necessarily what they're saying to us.
Right.
To us.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's something that if you really think about it, they might be right.
Yeah.
And we really need to follow in what they said.
I got to give you the hard truth.
Yeah. If you're going to grow, if you're going to become the person that you want to be,
mm-hmm.
you have to see the blind side as well.
That's right.
And that means that you accept what somebody else is telling you.
Exactly.
And you follow them and follow their direction.
Good. Now, the name Broken Wings Literary Center, that's powerful. For people hearing about it for the first time, tell us what you do, who you serve, and why it matters right now, right here in Philadelphia.
Okay. Well, one thing, if anybody goes on the website of Broken Wings, you will find out how Broken Wings got started. And Natasha Harris had 2 children, had twins, and one was very depressed and she was not functioning at a grade level. She was functioning in 3rd grade reading, 4th grade math. And she saw that her daughter was very depressed and she wasn't sure what was happening. I think that what Natasha did was awesome. She decided she was going to do a study of her daughter and look at where the problems were and what she needed, because she just kept falling back, and then the school recommended that she take medication for ADD. And Natasha decided to get some really good assessment and planning for her daughter. And she really looked at her needs, and she found a tutor who could help her with math, with reading, and then also with the ADD. She helped her learn how to dance, to run, to cook, to journal, to use her energy. And that's really amazing that you really take she got a lawyer, but in all, she put all the effort into helping her daughter become who she wanted her to be. And it took her a little while, but she got her on grade level. She, as a parent, got her on grade level. And I have to admire Natasha for that, because that is really remarkable to do that when you have systems
Right.
and different people telling you, she can't function, you got to find something else. Well, wait a minute, why can't she function? And then to look at it from the root and explore it and see, this is her problem, this is not her problem, this is her problem, and then find things that will help her solve her problem.
Okay. So that is the origins of Broken Wings.
Yeah, her daughter. And then she realized how many thousands of other children are in the same situation. Because if you really look at it right now, there's a lot of children that are in schools that are not reading at grade level. They really aren't reading at grade level. And they have to be helped to find out what they can do to develop their level and to develop it in a way that they can make the most of themselves and their lives.
Okay.
And not just be forgotten.
So what do you do? What do you do within the context of Broken Wings Center?
Well, right now I am a reading captain.
Reading captain.
I work with Dorian Harris, who is in charge of Northwest area, and he reads every Saturday online. And then he also has a lot of events where we go and help out and work with the kids and read to the kids and do stuff like that.
Would you believe that Dorian Harris, me and him grew up in the same neighborhood?
No, really?
Yeah. His brother is the same age as me.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so I just spent a lot of time at the Harris house.
I love Dorian.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
Dorian is real good. And you talk about Natasha's twins, she was in my program, the Philadelphia Youth Leadership Council.
Okay.
Both of them were tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we are, it's a little small world here. Yes. Okay.
But again, Natasha has big dreams, and she's just to me, she's a mover and shaker. And she would like to start a group home, and for kids who are aging out of the system, but also children who might be having some problems and can't manage in a foster care system. And we're looking at raising funding so that we can develop that group home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Carol, you have both MSW and an MBA, and most people choose one lane. How does running an organization like Broken Wings require you to use both those minds, the clinical and the executive at the same time?
Well, there's the idea that you're working one-on-one with kids. That's MSW type material. That's where you counsel, because can I just say this real fast? I had been working at DHS, and I took an early retirement. And right before I left, and I also at night and on weekends worked as a therapist, marriage and family and couple therapist.
Okay.
And I had been told that I would only get paid fee for service. Well, my clients all came in. My clients all came in. And one night when I was there, my last client, I had a little problem. The couple was thinking about separating. He had been an investment counselor, and she was ready to leave him because he couldn't manage his finances in the household. I was a little concerned about that because I had my money with them,
Right.
with that company. It was like, you are a officer and you can't manage your own family. And it was like, this is what I'm working with. And I thought before I said anything at all that I would be ashamed of later,
Right.
I really had to look at, is this what I want to do?
Okay.
And then I ended up doing a walk on Kelly Drive for the American Diabetic Association.
Oh, yeah, every year.
And they were going to hire me full time.
Okay.
And then I also was offered a job at McGee as a social worker. I thought of this. I thought, what am I going to do? And what happened is that I thought, I'm going to end up at the American Diabetic Association had people from out of town come in and interviewed me for the job, and they were going to hire me.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, I'm going to get there, and somebody's going to say to me, what are you doing here? You don't know anything.
Right.
So I ended up going back for my MBA at the University of Phoenix.
Okay.
And so I am really interested in fundraising and developing nonprofits and helping them with their development, their programs to help other community, community resources and also families and children in the community. So that's kind of like why I have an MSW MBA.
Okay. So poverty, literacy, and mental health are three separate crises, but you treat them as one. Walk our audience through how those three things are connected in the lives of your children that you serve.
Well, I mean, it really is, because when there's mental health problems, for instance, domestic violence often affects children as well as partners. If there's a mental health problem in the household and there's conflict, I mean, I know different people who never got married because their parents argued all the time.
Right. Okay.
So that doesn't cause for harmony or it doesn't cause for growth, doesn't cause for peace. It's really hard for a child to go to school and work when developing themselves when they know that their parents are at home having a volatile situation.
Right.
It stays with them. Tragedy, trauma stays with a person all their life, And I think it's really important I am currently taking a course in solution-focused brief therapy. It talks about what is your outcome? What is the outcome that you're looking for? What is your best hope? And I think that is so important to look at, even if it means that you're going to separate, because you have to look at what are you together for and what can also happen to help you become the person that you really want to be. So that's kind of like they do go all together: mental health, literacy. As I said, when you're reading, if there's a mental health problem in the family or a conflict or whatever, it might be very, very difficult for the child to focus on reading.
Right.
And to really grasp what is being said in that book. So, and even to become better at reading because they have a hard time. What's happening at home,
Right, exactly. Definitely, the home environment does help. Can you share like one story? I mean, and without like violating anyone's privacy of a child or his family, that was visibly changed by Broken Wings.
Again, as I said, Natasha has won 54 awards because of her work with kids.
54?
Yes, and she's actually going to be getting one this month from the mayor.
Okay.
Because she has really set her heart to help the community, to help the kids, to help them grow because of what happened with her daughter, Tashiana.
Okay.
She wants to see the best for everyone. I mean, we all have so many years to live. Let's make the most of them. Let's find a way to have a positive moment in school, have a positive moment in church, have a positive moment in family, so that we can grow and be the people that God would have us be.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that we grow in that way. So I really think that Broken Wings, as a community nonprofit, has showed that that Natasha and the people that she works with are setting their minds to help families and kids and to help them maybe stay away from violence by becoming better at what they can do and who they are, developing their talents.
Now, Carol, I know you've been working in social work for years. Was it? Can you tell me like that very moment when you realized that this work is worth it to dedicate your lives to? That you realized that you're making a difference.
I really think that when I worked in permanency plan, when I worked with keeping kids together, I worked with Congresso, I worked with APM, I worked with SCAN. I really liked that because it was an opportunity to see what we could do, to collaborate with nonprofits as DHS. We worked together, we collaborated, and we had a mission to help families to grow and stay together, intensively, which was so important, I think.
But tell me if there was a moment or maybe a case that you were working on that said, this is our work. I'm also, we're colleagues.
Yeah.
And we both worked at Department of Human Services. And I know there was moments when I realized that I'm saving lives here. That's why I was so devoted to the job, because I know I saved many lives, many children. And if I hadn't been there, who knows what would have happened to them. Did you ever have a moment like that?
Right. I think, as I said, when we worked to keep families together, it was so important to look at, does this child actually have to go into placement, or can we work intensively with this family to keep them together? Mm-hmm. And I really think that was a mission at DHS that really meant the most to me.
Yeah, and that's a difficult decision.
Yeah.
Because you have to say, you got to make the right decision, because you don't want to keep the child at risk. Yeah, you want to keep the family together.
Right.
So you really got to, there's a lot, I know a lot of stuff is getting, is what I'm saying, they got it down to a formula or a process or something like that. Uh-huh. But it really was the intuition, the instinct of the social worker in a certain event that knew that they're doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had to look at that to see exactly what was the best move to make, but you also had to see whether or not it could be solved so that the family could stay together.
Right. Mm-hmm. In 50 years, there must have been moments of pure exhaustion, times when the weight of other people's pain almost broke you. How do you refill your cup so that you can keep giving?
Well, can I tell you this story yet?
Sure.
Okay. I married a man who worked at DHS, and he wanted to become a minister, and we became friends with a family from South Africa. Well, my husband decided he wanted to go to seminary, Eastern Mennonite seminary. And so I said, well, you go, but I'm going to have to stay. Somebody's going to have to work. So I rented my house out to the family from South Africa. Okay. And I ended up getting a room with a family that I knew from church. Mm-hmm. And I ended up working at DHS during the day. And I worked from 5:30 to 9:30 at rehab after work, running groups for men and women in addictions. And I worked at Episcopal Hospital, seeing women who came in who had been raped from Women Organized Against Rape in the emergency room.
Okay.
So that's what I did when he was in seminary.
Okay.
But I think those
now, even faced with that, now that's got to be very stressful. And dealing with all those cases and stuff, How do you keep yourself charged up? How do you not just say, "Oh, this is too terrible"? I mean, you've seen things that a lot of people would just overwhelm them. How did you continue to deal? How did you refill your cup?
Okay, well, I have to tell you that I turn everything over to God.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All
Yeah, I
right.
do that because the thing is, I am only a human being and God's all powerful, all sovereign. And so I'll say to him, God, I don't know what's going on. I feel really right now, I feel like I am not a survivor. I feel like a victim. And I really need your help. And I would just turn it all over to him and he would see me through.
Okay. Okay. I knew there had to have been a spiritual side there. Because even in the work that I did, I realized at some point in time when I was faced with a lot of stuff, I was like ready to give up, but it was like God told me, he said, the mission's not over.
Yeah.
So I see you had the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah. And
Now
that's why I start every morning in prayer with my prayer
every
group,
morning with prayer.
7:30.
Okay. See that? Every morning in prayer, everyone. Every morning. I start my mornings off the same way with a prayer. Gratitude.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you earned a lifetime achievement from the University of Phoenix and the P.O.W.E.R, Woman of the Month recognition. When those honors came in, what did you feel, and who did you think about first? You got those awards.
I was surprised. I was surprised. It was like maybe I am who I think I am.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not all that, maybe I don't have to always worry about did I miss the mark? Did somebody criticize me? Maybe I just need to look ahead and say, thank God I achieved. I'm doing good. I can make it, and stop putting yourself down.
That's important. That's important for our audience to realize that sometimes a lot of people walk around thinking they're imposters, right? Not realizing, and then you have some, I guess it's confirmation.
Yeah.
You have confirmation, and it tells you that I am worthy.
Yes.
I am worthy, and that's important, especially to an influencer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And that's why I say back again to Natasha. I mean, she came through 17 foster homes and she now is like convinced that she can do it and she's doing it. I love that about her.
Mm-hmm.
That determination, that spirit. And I just want to even be more like that.
Okay. Well, you still have a dream, I understand, to return to marriage and to family therapy. So what brought you back to that work, and what would that chapter in your life look like?
Well, I would love to go back to being a therapist, but again, I am a little concerned because I know that it can be burdensome at times. You have to learn how to take care of yourself so that you aren't burdened down by other people's problems.
Right.
And I enjoy talking to different people and finding out, how best to help them and show them support. I think it's so important to show people support because if you really look at people, do they have the support that they need to make it happen for them? And we need to be encouraging. We need to be loving. We need to, instead of being critical of each other, let's love each other and say, okay, you made a mistake. That's okay. You can do it again. You can make it happen again. Just keep working. Just keep as long as you're alive, every day counts. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Okay. Now, you're a University of Pennsylvania ambassador and a fixture at the Penn Relays. What does that mean to you to bridge the world of the Ivy League institution with the neighborhoods that the institution sits alongside?
Well, I mean, it's really special being part of Penn. But the thing is, to me, everybody is an individual who has a right to grow in their own talents and in their own potential. And so I'm happy for the experience at the University of Penn. But it's like there's other schools, other people, other places. Everyone matters. No matter what color, no matter what religion, everyone matters. And we have to respect people for who they are and learn to love them for who they are.
Okay. Now, Philadelphia is a city with enormous heart and enormous pain. What does this city need most right now? And what role do you believe that social work community must play in delivering it?
Well, I think we need to advocate a lot more than what we're doing. I mean, I really do have some concerns for what's happening nationwide as far as ICE, what happened in Michigan, and I hate Minnesota. And I hate to say this, but I went to Old Dominion University. I used to do Bible stuff there. And one of the woman who was killed in Minnesota went to Old Dominion. So it brought back a lot of memories. And I really think that when we see somebody hurting, no matter who it is, we need to be able to advocate for them and find a way to support them as to their needs so that we can refer them and collaborate and bring people together to what they need, so that if we see anybody who's suffering, that we would be willing to take that extra mile and advocate for them. I have a friend right now who's living over in Jersey, and she doesn't know her neighbors. She's been there for 15 years. She doesn't know her neighbors, and she's by herself. I don't get that. I really don't get why people can't have a heart and help somebody in need. And that's what social work is all about, looking at what the need is and trying to find a way to solve the problem and being the support system for that problem. You refer them to the right organization. You refer them to church. You refer them to an organization. You help them get their needs met. You say, you're a good person. We love you. You know, you're a great person. Just help it continue to develop your talents. Give them a vote of confidence. I do that in Toastmasters.
Okay.
I am part of a club that was falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to close it. And now it's succeeding. It's growing really well.
Okay.
And they come at me for that because I helped them look at what the problem was, and then they grew, and now they're really growing. And the person who's going to be giving a speech tomorrow that I coordinated won the Division C, and he's going to be competing over next weekend, but he's going to come to this club and give a speech tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's just the idea, for one thing, of connecting people, helping people look at what your talents are,
right,
how you can help other people, and how you can become the person and help them become the person that we were meant to become through God.
Okay. You know, Carol, I've known you for years. I never even know this part of you. So this is really even surprising me. I know I always saw you at a lot of community events. I know you're very community active. So I'm like really, really like excited and inspired by you. Yes. You know, now you play the piano?
Yeah.
You write?
Yeah.
You root for the Phillies and the Eagles?
Yeah.
Who is Carol when nobody's watching? When she's just being herself?
And what about it?
And who are you when you're just being yourself?
You know, I get along so well with kids. Whenever I get a chance, I taught chess and checkers to kids in the school district.
Okay.
And I really like that, elementary and junior high. And I love being around kids because kids are themselves. You never have to worry about how they're going to pretend to be somebody else.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I like that because I'm like that.
Okay.
I'm me.
Mm-hmm. You're you.
And so I love working with kids and just seeing their personalities and stuff like that, and not have to worry, oh, God, did I do something wrong?
Mm-hmm. So you're a child at heart then.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right. So speaking of young people, if a young person watching right now is standing on the crossroads, wondering whether a life in service is worth the sacrifice, what do you have to say to them?
I would talk to them as to what their main hopes are for right now and who they would like to become. I would encourage that first. I would encourage that because the fact is that you got to really take care of yourself first and then help others.
Okay.
Just like it says on the plane, put your mask on first.
Okay.
And I was telling that to somebody the other day. I said, the thing is, if we have people who are providing services to people, we need to make sure that they're being taken care of first, too. That we have events for them, that we give them fun things to do and stuff like that. And then say, and this is the next event. We want to service the other people in the community. But if you continue to put other people first and people aren't taking care of themselves, you're going to lose them. Because they're going to get burned out and they're going to get, hey, I'm tired of it. I want to take care of me. And so I think the thing is, in working with kids, I might even just say that to them too. You know what? It's great. Let's develop your skills. Let's see where you're strong, what you want to do. But then help your neighbor, help your friend, you know. Just be there for them when they need you and smile and laugh and play with them.
Okay. So before we let you go, because I know you sound like a very, very busy person, right? Where can people find you, and how can they support the mission of Broken Wings and get involved?
Well, again, I do have the email address and the address where Broken Wings is located. Yeah. And we have a lot of events at Sturgis Playground.
Okay, Sturgis Playground.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, if there's any alumni from the University of Phoenix, we want to get together because we want to have some events. I'm looking at maybe having something on the Spirit of 76 again this fall and the spring, in the summer. Some fun activities that we can enjoy life a little bit together too.
Okay. Do you have the website? Can you tell us the website for Broken Wings?
Yeah. There's a website. You just go on brokenwings.com.
BrokenWings.com?
No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Broken Wings Literacy Center. Sorry.
Literacy Center. Okay. We'll have that. We're going to have that right in front of you when this next show airs. So I'll see it right in front of you.
Okay.
Up there.
Broken Wings Literacy Center.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other, for your audience, do you have any kind of final comments, final remarks for them of encouragement, inspiration, advice?
I would say live each day for the moment. Look at what you want to do with your life and how you can make it happen. And look to the people that are with you, that have supported you, and thank them. And also how you can reach out and help other people who might need your help. And let's just try to find a way, like the immigrants and stuff like that, ICE and stuff like that. Please, let's advocate for everyone has a right to live.
Okay, all right. I want to thank our guest, Carol, on behalf of everyone here at the Connector Live TV, and on behalf of every family in Philadelphia whose life has been touched by your work. I want to say thank you, not just for being here today, but for 50 years of showing up, 50 years of choosing the hard road because it was the right road. That is not common. That's remarkable. Now tonight, we sat with a woman who holds degrees from the University of Pennsylvania and the University of Phoenix. And not to just to hang it on the wall, but to go back into the community and do the work. A vice president of the Broken Wings Literary Center, fighting every single day to make sure that children born in poverty are not defined by poverty. We heard about the children. We heard about the mission. We heard about the mentors that poured into her so she could pour into others. And we heard about the quiet dream still alive in her heart. To one day return to marriage and to family therapy because she's not done yet. Kings and queens, she's not done yet.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. If tonight moved you, If something that Carol said landed in your spirit, don't let it stop here. Get connected, get involved. The Broken Wings Literary Society or Literary Center needs volunteers, donors, advocates, and believers. One act of support from you could be the moment that changes a child's entire trajectory. Find us on YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, and right here at Verizon Fios and Infinity. Subscribe to the Connector Network and share this episode with someone who needs to hear this story today. That's what we're here to do on the Connector Live TV, The Influencers. Real people, real stories, real impact. I'm your host, The Connector, and I leave you tonight with this. Carol Henning-Franczyk did not wait for the world to be ready. She showed up. She served, and she built something with her own hands that will outlive or outlast most of us. Kings and queens, be magnificent and exceed your expectations.
Exceed your expectations. The influencers.
Family, let me speak to the dreamers, the movers, the ones who refuse to stay small, the ones who feel destinies tapping on their shoulder, whispering, you were never meant to crawl. See, I wrote a book for the bold, for the ones with stories untold, for the hustlers with heart, and the leaders made of gold. It's called Urban Networking. Yeah, the blueprint, the spark, the ignition, the guide for every urban professional with purpose, a plan, and a vision. Because after 30 years in these streets, in boardrooms and back seats, in classrooms and concrete, I learned the truth that cannot be beat. Your network shapes your next step. Your circle shapes your mindset. Your connections shape your progress, and your relationships shape your success. But many of us, too many kings and queens, are living like that eagle raised in a coop, forgetting what wings mean, scratching for crumbs when we were built for the sky, believing the limits that we were taught instead of the greatness we supply. So I wrote this book to help you rise, to help you see with eagle's eyes, to help you walk into any room with confidence amplified. Urban networking teaches you how to build bridges, not walls, how to turn small conversations into destiny-seeking calls, how to elevate your circle so your circle elevates you. Because when your network grows, your opportunities do too. This ain't theory. This strategy in motion. This is wisdom from the trenches, poured out with devotion. This is the formula for elevation, the science of connection, the art of conversation that leads to transformation. So when you're ready to rise, ready to connect, ready to claim the greatness you haven't even touched yet, go to www.michaelwrightspeaks.com and get your copy today, because the world doesn't need more professional. It needs leaders who know the way. Urban networking, the blueprint, the rhyme, the rise, the moment you stop living grounded and finally claim the skies. Kings and queens, what an incredible journey we've just taken today. Every episode of the Connector Live TV, The Influencers, is designed to lift your vision, expand your network, and remind you of the greatness already living inside you. But today felt special because we didn't just hear a story. we witnessed the legacy. Our guest, Ms. Carol Henning-Franczyk, showed us what it looks like when purpose meets preparation, when compassion meets strategy, and when one woman decides that the coop she was born into will never define the height of her flight. She reminds us that influence isn't about titles. It's about impact. It's about showing up for the people who can't show up for themselves. It's about building systems that outlive you and planting seeds that grow into futures you may never see. Family, that's the heart of the show. That's the heartbeat of the Connector Live TV, and that's the message behind my book, Urban Networking, that your relationships, your community, your connections, they are the wind beneath your wings. And if you've been watching tonight thinking, maybe I'm that eagle, maybe I was born for more, let me tell you something. You are. You absolutely are. So as we close, I want you to carry this with you. Change your environment, change your conversation, change your self-image, and watch how your entire life begins to rise. On behalf of the entire team here at the Connector Live TV, the influencers, thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for choosing growth. Thank you for choosing elevation. And thank you for choosing to soar. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and always exceed your expectations. Be magnificent.